broadcast. Today we're going to talk about top rules for online dating. And I know this might seem like something you probably already know if you've been online dating, but it's so good to cover it again because when we get into online dating, it's easy to get distracted, to get triggered, and to really forget the basic rules. It really can make you successful. But before I jump into that, hi, Holly. Welcome. I want to share a little testimonial about one of my clients is getting engaged. It's so exciting. I just talked to her today. And so this is why I love online dating, because I get to talk and work with women that have so much success that they actually want to get engaged, married, and live happily ever after. And it's not a cliche. It really does happen. And so this particular client had been spending 6 months in the States and 6 months overseas. And she was on a visa. And so she had to go back to Europe, and she wanted to continue to be deliberate in all of her actions in terms of meeting her soulmate. So she was using her Bumble app when she was traveling. And so, long story short, she ended up meeting up with a man that was also on Bumble from the States. And they ended up meeting up, and she was actually there for 6 months. So they talked, they FaceTimed, they kept in touch, and they ended up as a couple. And now they're getting ready to move in together, but they're going to be getting engaged first. So I'm really excited about sharing that engagement announcement with you. And it just warms my heart so much when I get these the testimonials that come through, and actually, you go all the way from going online, going through all the heartache, the struggle, the frustration, and then it really turns out to be something amazing. So again, I want to jump into these top rules for online dating because I don't think that we can go over them enough because, like I said, you can get triggered, you get confused, discouraged, and you might forget the basics. So let's go over the basics, and then I'm going to take some questions. And so one of the things that I think is so important is consistency. It's so important to be consistent in everything you do because success loves consistency. If you want to achieve anything in life, you have to be steady Betty. So you need to consistently be online, regularly contacting men and having them contact you, updating your profile, and meeting men in real life, telling people that you're single, excited about getting into a relationship, working through the blocks and the frustrations that come up. So you have to consistently be doing that in all areas, not just going online, but you have to be consistently looking at how your behavior is showing up on a date, and then assessing how you can make some shifts to do it better next time. Because remember, what you focus on expands. So after you go on a date, it's so important for you to assess. Now, not criticize and not judge yourself, but to assess, how did I do? Was I in my feminine energy? Did my energy dip with some questions? Sometimes a man will ask you a question and it will throw you off and it will trigger you. And that's your stuff, right? That gets triggered. In that trigger, your energy goes down because you go into your head and you start thinking about what he said instead of being able to be present and continue moving forward in the conversation. And guess what? Men notice. They notice when your energy dips. They notice when you get a little triggered. And some of them will even ask you, like, is everything okay, etc. So it's so important for you to assess how you do on your dates. And again, not from a place of being judgmental, not from a place of, wanting to fix yourself. There's nothing wrong with you, but we all have areas that we can improve on. And that's what the dating platform is all about, is using that to become the best version of yourself. So be consistent in all the ways that you're showing up on and offline, and you will see good results just from that. And now the next one I think is equally as important: authenticity, genuineness, right? Authenticity really connects. And so being genuine. Now, how do we become genuine? How do we become more authentic? So what we have to do, again, is just become that best version of yourself. You cannot be authentic when you're wearing a mask or a persona or being in a way that you feel that men would like you. That's not authentic. You have to be yourself. But who is that person? Who is you? So this process, again, is so exciting because it helps you to refine who you want to be in the world, this dating process. And so just really wanting you to show up more authentically and more you, and speaking your truth, and of course using your feather when you do that, and just just being honest. Now, again, you have to have boundaries with honesty, right? It's incremental. You share things incrementally, but it's okay to say, my divorce is really hard on me. I really fell down on that. I really got hurt, but not going into the details, right? Just being genuine about what you're feeling and how you're showing up in your life, because that's really going to connect, and that's the key, right? And so the other rule that I think is equally as important is being classy. Classy. Let's be classy, ladies. And so I always say skin is in, but like this much skin. This is great. This is a great example. So I think skin and these off the shoulder tops are fabulous because they're very feminine, and this is a very feminine part of our body. And so, or any other kind of tops that revealed about this much. When you show too much skin in your pictures, it's first of all, you don't even need to, okay? Just a little peekaboo is all a man needs to get excited about maybe meeting you and to be attracted to you. So less is really more online. I mean, you have plenty of opportunities in real life to wear something, if you guys are hitting it off with a little more cleavage or something a little shorter in your dresses or skirt lines, but stick to less is more, and but do show a little bit of skin. And so let's talk about the common mistakes that women make online. And I'm guilty of making this mistake myself before I really skilled up, is bonding over your baggage, talking about your past. It's really important that you let go of your past while you're on a date, talking online. I'm definitely not mentioning anything about a bad breakup in your profile or deal breakers, because the deal breakers, when you mention them in your profile, it's kind of like a negative right up the front. You already have a laundry list of things that would turn a man off. So don't mention those if you are. And just stay away from talking about your history. Just answer the questions as simply as possible. So you do want to be authentic, but you don't need to tell the whole story. They don't need that. And, if they press, you can say, if we get to know each other more, I'd love to share more, but I'm really enjoying getting to know you, and I don't want to get stuck talking about the past. So you're not really brushing it off, but you're just redirecting that conversation so that you don't bond over your baggage. It's so easy to do, especially if you with someone who had a difficult divorce and you did. It's so easy to have that conversation because you have that in common, but you don't want to have that in common. You want to have the good stuff in common. So really be careful. It's an easy trap to fall into. I've done it myself, about bonding over your baggage. Okay, the next thing on my list here is, let's go over some things that I really would suggest that you avoid. And so avoid arguing with men. And so it sounds obvious, right? But I actually got into a text argument with this man when I was really naive about online dating, and I got triggered. And we were actually texting furiously back and forth. Yes, I admit it. I did that. And I was really triggered and really upset and really defensive. I was defending my position, and that's so notorious for the ego mind. So your ego always wants to be right. It always wants to have the last word, and it's addicted to drama. So that was a trap that I just walked right into. You can agree to disagree, or you can just next him and move on and just shut the conversation down, because it's going to spiral out of control. And another thing that I recommend avoiding is giving out your email address. These days, there's so many ways that people can get more information from you, and so many, in emails and phone numbers, etc. So do not give out your personal email ever, unless you are, you become exclusive, or you're clear on the character of the man that you're dating. It's just not wise. Create a separate email account just for dating that isn't linked to anything else, so that you have some privacy, right? You have to protect your privacy online. Just be smart about that. And then the other thing to avoid is telling him where you live. I mean, this might sound really obvious, but if you live in a small community, which where I live is relatively small, so I would say I live in La Jolla Village, but it's so small here, they might ask me, well, what street do you live on? Because it's tiny. But you could say something like, I'll tell you when I meet you. It's such a small community. why don't we talk about this more when we meet? So, or you could say like over by the park. You can be a little more vague, but definitely don't want to give the exact address. And here's why. When I was dating, I had a teenage daughter living at home, and our condo opened to the street. So it wasn't like in a building where there's a security gate. And so basically, there's my address. If you found my name and you could Google it, you can find exactly where I live and come right up to my front door where me and my teenage daughter lived. So that's why I'm cautioning you to not tell a man where you live and not have a man pick you up on the first date. If you feel really comfortable, second date, but maybe the third date. Have some consistency there with and familiarity in terms of your comfort zone and your safety. So there's a couple things to avoid, and those are rules. You have to have some rules that keep you safe. And now let's talk about how to create an instant connection. So the fastest way to create an instant connection online, and this is one of the rules that I really recommend to follow it, is to remember not to be so serious, to remember to have that flirty banter. And I know it's hard to learn how to flirt online because it is a little bit of a different skill set that you hone over time. But you remember, you only have a few seconds, 15, 20 seconds to make a great first impression, and them too. So you want to stick to the lighter, fun banter. And that's going to draw a man in much faster than asking him just some standard questions. And so you want to really just try to really work on skilling up your fun, flirty banter. Now, in effort to help all of you, because so many of you show up on my YouTube channel and you're over here on Facebook, and I'm so grateful to have you a part of my community, but I see so many of these mistakes happening so much that I put together a training, and I really want you to register for it because you've set your intention to call in your soulmate. So you need to take this extra step. You need to learn how to apply all the information that I give you. And what I've done is created a fabulous webinar called Swipe Yourself into a Red Hot Romance. And I want to give you all of my insider secrets. I'm going to be talking about what's the number one thing that stops women in their tracks, and it just cripples women online. I really want to share that with you. And I want to share the critical components to make your online dating profile a winner, to get you more dates than you can handle. You really need to be reigning men. And if you're not, it's because of your profile. And also, there's 5 stages that I've discovered through working with hundreds of clients that you're going to go through before you know that he's a fit. And that's what I'm going to cover in this webinar. So check out the link in the box below so that you can sign up. Seats are limited. We only can take so many ladies, and I'm already almost to capacity. And I want you to make sure that you get a seat so you don't miss out. Because again, remember, information doesn't equal transformation. Get on this webinar, and I'm going to help you to apply. The application of the information is what the key is. That's the key to your success. So, okay. Now, let's go back to the instant connection. This is so important online, is to get back to talking about the witty banter. You really need to learn how to be a great online flirt. And yes, you have boundaries, and it's just the way that you drop your hanky online, and that'll inspire him to ask you out. And so one way that you can do this is to make sure the rule of thumb is to stay positive. So when you stay positive, you focus your attention on what you want. When you're positive and you're in a good mood and your vibration's high, it's all about you're happy with what you're experiencing. But sometimes we experience things that, aren't as pleasant, but boy, doesn't our attention quickly go to all that negative things. And it's so easy to spiral into a negative spin when you're online because it's easy to get triggered. So if you want to create an instant connection quickly, you've got to hone your skill on flirty banter. Another thing that I'm going to talk about in the webinar, because here's the thing, consistency and this fun flirty banter creates momentum, right? That's what you need. You need momentum. And when you focus on negative, it slows your momentum because you get distracted. You take your eye off the intention, and now you're over here focused wherever your focus goes, your energy follows. And so it's a skill that you can practice until you master it. You just have to consistently practice that fun, flirty banter, staying positive, and you will have a good result. And so the last piece that I want to share that's a top rule for online dating is needing validation from men. And believe me, we are all confronted with this I guess, neurotic need for external validation. I mean, it starts when we're born and it runs through our life until we get a handle on it. Now, rejection is not a rejection online. I like to call it a redirection. So you're just being redirected. If he's not a match, or he doesn't answer your text, or he doesn't get back to you, or he doesn't follow through, then he just gave you a lot of information. He's not your guy. That's saved you so much time. You need to be grateful for those redirections and stop looking at them as rejection, because what's really happening is it's triggering that part of you that is really secretly longing to get valued, get external validation from the men online. And these are strangers. You don't need their validation. Real validation can only come from you. So I just wanted to bring these top rules to your attention and make sure that you're practicing them. I'm going to drop the rules in the comment box below so that you can copy and paste them into your phone and look at them when you're going online. And so let me take some questions. I've got a whole full house here on YouTube and over here on Facebook. Welcome. Good. Yes, go back online. And really, it's a skill set. Did you know that 40% of relationships are starting online through all age groups? That's almost half. Just think about that. Almost half of the people in this country and abroad are getting into relationships through online dating. So it really makes sense for you to become very skilled in this area and stop resisting something that is so fabulous. And, I'm a big supporter because that's how I met Michael. But before that, I was dating in real life, and it was just so hard to get those conversations off the ground when you get a little bit older, and to really know their background and history. Can't really be as direct in real life that you can online dating, because everybody's there and has their intention. That's why I think it's so fantastic, among so many other things. So, oh, good, Mary. I'm so glad you're going to be on the webinar. Yay, ladies, grab your spot. Okay. This can left me kind of lackluster. I love the comments. I'm trying to find a good question that will benefit all of you. I found most gentlemen are really good about privacy and not pushing. I guess that says something about them. Absolutely. She brings up a good point. When a man's pushing you for more information, like just tell me your last name, or why don't you want to tell me where you live? If he's pressuring you or taking some kind of attitude, he's not your guy, because a gentleman understands. And if he has a daughter, he really understands why you need this level of privacy, and information is incrementally shared as trust is built. So a gentleman will understand that and will accept that. And that's what you're looking for too. You're looking for a gentleman. You almost got in an argument with your husband, single friend. He said he was getting into women because they're submissive and he doesn't like American women. Well, I don't know if I have a reply for that, but I guess to each his own, right? What can I say about submissive? I know for a fact, I just talked to my husband about this. Michael he doesn't respect what we would call, you and I, a doormat. I don't think many people do. Relationships are built on trust and respect. If you don't trust your man, and not trust, let me say that again. If you don't respect the man that you're dating, it's going to be very hard to build chemistry and build a life with him. And the same goes for you. If the man that you're dating doesn't respect you and you don't hold boundaries and you're too submissive because you're afraid to speak your truth because you're afraid he'll leave or whatever, he's not respecting you, and your value goes down in his eyes. Because value, remember on my last video, if you haven't watched it, make sure you watch video number 1. I talk about how value is a perception, that it's up to you to create that perception. So when you are a, whatever you want to call it, doormat, or you don't speak your truth, your value goes down in his eyes because he can't read your mind. He actually needs to know how you feel and think about things so that you can, again, see if there's chemistry and grow your respect and trust for each other. So let me take one more question. Do you think pics are more important than what you write in your profile? I do. I think your pictures are 90% of your profile, because the first thing a man looks at is your picture. And that's like a stop sign. You want them to stop and look at you. And then they're going to read your profile, like what they read, and then they're going to reach out to you. So it's all about the pictures, ladies. And I'm going to go into this in depth. In fact, those of you who sign up for the training and stay to the end, I created a Captivate Him online dating profile picture checklist. And I know that this is going to really help you because I've helped tons of women and coached them through getting their online dating pictures. And there are nuances that you need to know that are on this checklist. So that's a little gift that I put together for those of you who attend the training and stay to the end. Okay, ladies, thank you for being here. Thank you over here on Facebook. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Mary, Cindy, Sandra. Good to see you. And ladies on YouTube. Now, I'm going live again on Saturday. I'm going to talk about stop chasing and learn to flirt. So it'll be more information about that flirty banter online. So join me, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, Saturday afternoon. It'll be my last of the 3 in this mini Red Hot Romance training video series. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for being here. And I'll drop that link in the box. You can register for the webinar, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Okay, ladies, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Sending you lots of love. Bye. Bye. Bye-bye.